I'm Kevin Giglinto, Vice President for Strategy and Special Initiatives at the Chicago Symphony Orchestra Association. And what I'm going to talk about is how we're leveraging some trends in new media in order to extend the reach of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. The CSO is truly a global orchestra, with fans around the world, a highly regarded international reputation, and many of those fans, as well as the people who come to our hall every single week, were first introduced to the CSO through their rich recording legacy. Recordings by the CSO, they boast hundreds of recordings. Recordings have garnered 62 Grammy Awards, including 2 on our in-house record label, CSO Resound. That's more than anyone else in history. But we all know that the media landscape has changed, and for young audiences, it's so different, and they don't consume it in the same way. And this is the challenge we have, other orchestras have, all recording artists have. So how could we leverage what is taking shape while still being able to have the benefits of the good things that we're doing today through traditional media? This is a chart that represents record sales from 1982 through 2012. It's a trend you're probably familiar with. You might even experience it yourself in how you consume media. The red bars represent CD sales, physical CD sales over time. You see the purple is downloads of albums or singles, and more recently, the grayish color is streaming. Napster started right about where that giant red bar starts to go down. So, even this environment is changing dramatically. These charts show the change in record sales over the last year, 2013 into 14. And with services such as Spotify and Pandora, with streaming subscription services, it has changed dramatically, even this landscape, and has taken a huge dent out of download sales. If you look at streaming, grew by 50% in the last year, while download of albums dropped by 15%. Even Apple is investing more in iTunes Radio because they see this being a change. That is a subscription-based service. And even yesterday, I was reading that Google just announced that they're going to launch Music Key, which is their audio streaming service for subscription that will complement YouTube. It's nice to see vinyl album sales growing at such a nice pace. It is a small sliver of the audiophile market, though I love every single one of you who do that. And and this is going to change more. I mean, this is an environment that just will change and change and change. And one of the things that's really great on the horizon is with broadband basically everywhere and HD video being so successful, we're going to see a lot more in high fidelity, high resolution audio being delivered digitally and streamed. Now, going back to the chart for a second, it is really interesting to see the importance that video plays in the delivery of music. In fact, the #1 way that music is consumed digitally is through YouTube. So, how can we take advantage of this trend? Video has become really important for all of us. We've all become publishers of video content. And, you even see for-profit companies with producers in-house that are producing content to connect with audiences. So, how could we do it? But what we started thinking is, how do we leverage this trend, but how do we think about it differently to get better reach than what we have actually been experiencing in the past? We felt we had the right opportunity right at our fingertips with this young man, Giuseppe Verdi. Thank you. Thank you for that. And of course, these guys, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and Chorus. Giuseppe Verdi would turn 200 on October 10, 2013, and we thought that for us was lightning in a bottle. The world, or at least the arts world, was writing and talking about Verdi and the role that he has played throughout music in the generations. And we thought that this was a really great opportunity for us because at the same time, the CSO is led by the world's preeminent Verdi interpreter and our music director, Riccardo Muti. Additionally, recording of Verdi's Requiem with Maestro Muti, the orchestra and chorus, received 2 Grammy Awards just a couple years earlier. And in Verdi's bicentennial, we would be releasing Otello. At the same time, on the actual birthday of October 10th, the CSO would once again be performing the beloved Requiem with the chorus, 4 remarkable soloists, all led by our music director. And we thought, we need to make this the global digital gathering place to celebrate Verdi. So we decided that we were going to stream it live. Now, what's new about that? Streaming concerts, there's nothing new about that. Streaming concerts live, that's not new. But we wanted to think about it differently and see how we could actually extend our reach as far as we possibly can. And I remember I talked to a PR firm when we talked about this idea, and we told them we wanted to reach 100,000 people, and here's how we wanted to go about it, and they literally laughed at me on the phone. And they did not take the job. And then I said, well, I have to talk to some folks to get some ideas. And then I decided to talk to a couple of friends of mine who are part of the Tessitura network and see if they had some ideas. And so Rob Grigg is the CTO of the Royal Opera House at Covent Garden. And Philippe Majid is the executive director of the Bhangra Dance Theatre in Sydney, Australia. They're very good friends of mine and very creative individuals. And I knew that both of them had done live streams before. And so I asked them what they do that they felt was a success that they could share. And both of them said to me, you should consider getting partners who will take the feed for you, basically embed your stream. Because it's in the partner's interest to get rich content on their website, which increases visitors and impressions, and it's in your interest to extend the reach of your content, which you're investing quite a bit in, as far as you possibly can. And so as I started cogitating that and started formulating how we were going to have a path forward, I started calling it with the team at the CSO distributed delivery. And what does distributed delivery mean? It basically starts with capturing the video in the hall and encoding it. And then what we do is we upload that single encoded file through our video platform, which is Brightcove. And there's a lot of video services out there, and I'm sure a lot of them are very good, but we really, really like Brightcove for a number of reasons. First and foremost, they take a single feed, and then through their platform, they transcode it into 12 different formats without us having to do a thing. We get basically pre-established formats that we want to push out. In addition, they replaced a lot of things that used to have to be handled with command-line coding with basically a couple of clicks, point and click. So it's a very WYSIWYG interface, and it made it very easy for us because we didn't have a huge team that could really figure out how to put the content out in the right manner, because essentially what you then do is by having all those formats, you're able to push the content out through a variety of platforms. So that single feed that we put into the Video Cloud Live platform enables us to distribute the content via PC, via handheld device, via tablet, via connected TV, and their player detects your player and your operating system and your connection speed and deliver to you the quality that makes sense based on that environment. But going back to distributed delivery, the important thing is that you also want to get partners who are going to take that feed for you so that their visitors can then consume that content via whatever platform they're consuming it. But they're aware of it because your partner has been promoting it and are equally engaged in delivering that content. So what we needed to do at this point was basically create a coalition of people and partners around the world who would take our feed. And what our PR department did, and what they said is, let's look for people or let's look for organizations that are already going to be covering this event in one way or another, right? And that made a lot of sense, right? This becomes supplemental, additional content that helps create more context around what they're already producing. And so they went about it and really did quite a bit of work to find those correct partners. But once we had the partners lined up, all we had to do was send them this string of code that actually Brightcove's player spits out for us, so we don't have to code it. So we take this code, we send it to those partners in advance, they put it on a page, and when we put our stream live, our player appears and is delivered on their sites at the same time, simultaneously, with when it's live on our site. So what happened? In the end, we wound up with 37 partners around the world, 11 in the US and Canada, 21 in Europe, and 5 in Asia. And They all took the feed, and it all went out simultaneously. But one of the things that we wanted to do differently, which we thought was very, very important, is also stream live through Facebook. And this wasn't something that we saw a lot of at the time. And what we felt was important, and again, going back to the philosophy of distributed delivery, is it's very hard to pull people into your website to consume content, especially if you're trying to get new audiences. You need to put the content out as far as you can so that people can discover it where they are spending their time on the web anyway. And especially with Facebook and other social media, they're spending their time there, they're engaging with their friends there, they're connecting with other individuals, and there's native functionality where we're serving up content that they can easily share it with their friends and extend our reach even further. And when it all unfolded live on October 10th, it was pretty remarkable to see it all happening. And people, I was backstage as we were feeding the file up into Bright Cove, and I literally watched every click, every view. I was following it all come through. And what was really fantastic is we started to see taking shape what we had hoped would happen, and particularly with platform independence. Here you see in the upper left someone watching on a PC. Just below that is a tablet. In the middle is a widescreen TV in someone's living room. On the right is someone sitting in their living room with a laptop watching our concert, while someone else is in the living room watching the Bears game that got moved to Thursday night. Thank you, NFL. But even with the Bears competition, it didn't really matter. So how did we do? We have 175,000 views and growing, 25,000 views through partner sites. We would have not even seen those people had we not gotten those partners. 50,000 views within 24 hours. We had a really nice, basically it happened at night in the United States, and Europe woke up to it, and then Asia woke up to it, and it was a nice continuation, and that flow continued for a number of days. 25% of live viewing was on a mobile device. 25% on a mobile device. 1% watched on game consoles. 90,000 views on YouTube, and we had 12,000 views on Facebook. And I'm going to share a little more data on Facebook beyond the views. I mean, that was great. We had 12,000 views who watched it straight through Facebook. Some stats about what happened on our own site, on CSO.org. We saw overall traffic spike tenfold, and we had to prepare for it. So we also saw new site visitors coming to CSO.org in the 6 days that happened after that concert were more than the previous 30 days. And international traffic in those same 6 days after the live performance was 4 times more than we saw in the previous month. Now back to Facebook. So we had 12,000 views, but what's great is, we had 100,000 likes, fans. And even though we had 100,000, their comments and shares and likes extended the reach of that post to 800,000 people. And then their subsequent shares and comments and likes resulted in total impressions of 2.6 million, which is 100 times greater than our next highest post. And we overall increased our fans by 10% in 5 days. And throughout the Twitterverse, we really saw even more evidence that this had indeed become the global digital gathering place to celebrate Verdi's birthday, which is what we had hoped for. The international coverage was really remarkable. Some of these organizations were those who took our feed and also wrote about it and wrote about the concert experience itself. Others just covered our concert as if it happened in their own backyard. And really did reinforce the fact that this was the culmination of the celebration of Verdi's birthday. And that's what we were hoping for. And most importantly, we were able to share the music of our orchestra and chorus around the world, which is the most important thing because that is what we do. Coming out of that, additionally, we had a 2-year-old recording that got a nice bump in sales, and we had a really, really nice start to a brand new release, which shows the importance of connecting all these things together. Can't be done separately. You build upon each other by working it together. So as we move forward, we really believe in the whole idea of distributed delivery and platform independence, because what essentially you want to do is give people the content so that they can consume it, how they want to consume it, when they want to consume it, and where they want to consume it. One of our cellists was not performing that night. We had the live concert, and he watched it on a beach in Hawaii. Because it's essentially overall, in the end, this is about maximizing the reach of our media investment, engaging with audiences and connecting with them and how they want to consume media today and into the future, and overall, build upon the rich recording legacy of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Thank you.